Hello everyone, welcome back to Gloomhaven. Having returned from the Barrow Lair, we are in the city and we have a few options about what we want to do, but I think the first thing we're going to do is take a city encounter event. It was a truly marvellous night full of alcohol and fuzzy memories. You are heading back to your rooms in high spirits when you take a wrong turn into an alley and trip over a mutilated corpse. What's all this then? You look up to see a city guard walk into the alley, annoyed by all the noise you are making in your revelry. Before you can react, he draws his sword. You! What did you do? You look and see that, due to the fall, your clothes are now covered in blood. The guard clearly thinks you are responsible for the man's death. The night just took a serious turn for the worst. Do your best to explain that the man was like this when you found him, or panic, kill the guard, and dispose of both corpses. I mean, we've already got a bit of a bad reputation going, so I can't see how one of these things is going to really be good for us. But maybe our reputation has already been besieged because we're on -1. So I think because we're not well liked, let's panic, kill the guard, and get rid of both the corpses. You go looking for someone who can dispose of the mess. It's not cheap, but one of your contacts promises to make the bodies disappear. -15 collective gold. Oh dear. Well, what I would love to be able to see in this screen is who has what amount of gold. I think Faith has 30. So we'll stick 10 here and 5 there. Well, that was not ideal. We also gained enough XP last time to level Brutus up to level 2, so... Mercenaries will unlock new and more powerful ability cards each time they level up. Look for synergies between ability cards and adapt your hand depending on the enemy types you'll be facing. Having the right cards against the right enemies might just keep you alive. On the ability panel, you can edit the deck of cards you take to a dungeon. Each mercenary has a different amount of cards they can carry and can only go adventuring with a fully equipped hand. However, hover over the abilities to view their full description. So, we know a lot of these already. We have not seen Skewer, Balanced Measure, or Wall of Doom. You must return to Gloomhaven to level up. Well, we are in Gloomhaven, so that's fine. And so, Skewer, Balanced Measure, and Wall of Doom are cards I guess we have had available to us this entire time. So if we had something that we weren't using very often, like, let's say... I don't know, it all seems so good. Let's say we weren't using Grab and Go very much. We could unselect that and we have 9 of 10 cards equipped. And then we could take Skewer, Balanced Measure, or Wall of Doom instead. So that we are always equipped with 10 cards as we go to an encounter. But here we can click Level Up. Good job on leveling up. Each time a mercenary levels up, you'll choose one of 2 new, more powerful ability cards. The card you don't choose will still be available to pick up the next time the merc levels up. Leveling up also unlocks a new perk for the mercenary. As the mercenary in the party levels up, so will the party's general level. This value is used to determine enemy strength, trap damage, and the value of loot in dungeons. You didn't expect things to get easier, did you? Brute has reached level 2. Fatal Advance. Kill 1 adjacent normal enemy to experience Burned, or move 4. Juggernaut. Move 2, attack 2. On the next 3 sources of damage to you, suffer no damage instead. You just received 2 new ability cards. Choose one to permanently add to the mercenary's deck. Well... Fatal Advance seems great, because it's just kill a normal enemy. So that wouldn't be an elite enemy, but just any normal enemy, dead. But we can only do that once and then the card is burned, or it's a move 4. Juggernaut, move 2, attack 2, or on the next 3 sources of damage, you suffer no damage instead. That's kind of an improved version of warding strength. For the next 6 sources of damage from attacks targeting you, gain shield 1. Well, currently Brutus isn't having trouble staying alive. That's more Faith's concern, because Faith gets exhausted when her hand runs out of cards, and Brutus gets 10, whereas I think Faith only gets 9. So let's take Fatal Advance. The new ability card has been added to the Merc's ability panel. Don't forget to equip it if you intend to use it in the next dungeon. So we now have 14 total cards available to us, but if we want to take Fatal Advance, we'll have to lose something from our hand otherwise. Question is, what? I like stun. I like 6 sources of damage giving us shield. Grab and go is fairly generic. Obviously movement is important to have, and we don't have any other looting cards. And the problem is we need looting cards because our personal quest is own 2 items for the head, the chest, the legs, 3 for the hands or 2 hands, and 4 standard items. So we're going to need to loot in order to do that. You've unlocked a perk. Nicely done. These are not so easy to come by. Successfully completing a dungeon and the chosen battle goal rewards the merc with perk points. By collecting 3 of these, you will unlock a perk. You can also unlock a perk by leveling up a mercenary. Perks allow you to alter a mercenary's attack modifier deck by adding new, more powerful modifiers and removing some of those nasty negative ones that keep creeping up in combat. So we have 1 available perk. And so we can take anything that we see here on the left. Ugh. So consistency, remove 2 -1 cards. Focus, replace 1 -1 with a +1. Add 2 +1s. Add 1 +3. Add 3 push cards. Add 2 pierce cards. I don't know what the arrow means. Bludgeon, add 1 stun card. I think the arrow means that if we draw this card, the deck is shuffled. I think that's what that is. Pacify, add 1 disarm card and 1 muddle card. Sweep, add 1 add target card. Bulwark, add 1 +1 shield 1 self to card. Ignore negative item effects and add +1 card. We probably want to ignore negative item effects, because if we look at our hide armor is currently giving us 2 -1s into our deck. So we will ignore negative item effects and add 1 +1. So this is effectively going to remove 2 -1s and add a +1. So we'll gain Fortitude. This is cancelled out. We gain an extra +1. And we remain with our passives for our armor, which is wonderful. We still want to think about adding Fatal Advance somewhere. The question is, what do we lose for it? I think it's going to have to be Shield Bash, Leap and Cleave. One of them does 3, which is this. Attack 2 for a sweeping blow. Leap and Cleave attacks 2 for a 3. So we'll lose Leap and Cleave, add Fatal Advance, Retaliate 2, Shield 2, add 1 attack to all of your attacks this round. Measured Balance, where X is the number of hexes you have moved this turn, attack for that much. Attack 3, Pierce for 1, if you have Wind to be spent on the Elemental table, which we have not discussed yet because it's not really come up. But I'm not going to change anything else. I'm going to take what we've got there. So we've done a city card. We've leveled up. We've gained equipment. Or perks, rather. We don't have any available perks yet. We need 3 perk points in total. Brutus has 2 more perk points, so we need 1 more there for another perk. But for now, I think it's time we went questing again. So we can either come to this Inox encampment, make an example of the Inox who crossed Jixera, Dagger Forest, Core Quest, kill a number of enemies equal to 5 times the number of mercenaries. Or we can come up here, investigate the bend in the Still River, kill all enemies in all rooms. And there are bandit archers, cultists, earth demons, living bones, and wind demons. I'm going to opt for the simpler foes, I think. Inox Archer, Inox Guard, Inox Shaman. So let's travel out here. We will, of course, get a road event. A knapsack and a walking stick on the side of the road catch your attention as you pass. You look around and see a man squatting in the bushes a small distance away. "Oh, hello," he says. "Good timing, actually. You wouldn't mind grabbing me some leaves, would you? It seems I've made quite a mess over here." Let's be the good guys. We'll bring this gentleman some leaves. You gather up a handful of leaves and walk over to him. You weren't quite sure what was going on before, but the smell definitely confirms it. "Thanks a lot," he says cheerily. "Sometimes nature calls, am I right?" You cough in affirmation and move on. Well, it's better than being hurt or anything else on the road. And we get to the Inox camp.
So this merchant wants to make an example of some caravan raiders. Yeah, seems reasonable enough. For the right amount of money, almost anything can be made reasonable. You enter the Dagger Forest and begin to track down the encampment using Jixera's crude map. It is well hidden, but following the signs outlined on the parchment, you find a dense cluster of huts in a small clearing of the forest. All that's left is to head in and make that requested example.
Okay, so here we have options to get more perk points so that we can get more skills and whatnot. Have 5 or more total cards in your hand and discard at the end of the scenario. Allow none of your allies to become exhausted during the scenario. Have 3 or fewer total cards in your hand and discard at the end of the scenario. Kill 1 or more elite monsters during the scenario. I don't know that we're going to see any elites, according to this at least. Our level is still only 1, even though Brutus has come up to level 2. Our average hasn't changed, so we are still... Brutus is going to be a bit stronger, but the average enemy isn't going to be any stronger than they were previously. So we'll go with the Zealot. Have 3 or fewer total cards in your hand and discard by the end of the scenario. And we'll see if we can be fast about this and go allow none of your allies to become exhausted during the scenario. Thinking about it. That is a busy room. So, kill a number of enemies equal to 5 times the number of mercenaries. So there's 2 of us, so we need to kill 10 enemies. We've got 3 guards at the front here. We've got an archer and shaman elites behind, so we can have elites when they're not flagged on the cards. And then there is a door with another area behind, and in fact looks like we've got 5 different areas that we can enter off the side of this room. As ever, we can begin in any of the white tiles around us. So where do we want to begin? We want to focus fire on 1 or 2 of them if we can. And of course we now have Fatal Advance, so we could kill someone immediately if we wanted to. It would mean we were without that card for the remainder of the combat. But that might not be such a bad thing. Do we know what these guys are capable of? Standard, movement 2, attack 2. So they can move 2. Do we have retaliate? We do. So I think I might retaliate and warding strength. So on the next 6 sources of damage, we gain defense. So we'll hope they come to us and attack the brute, who now has 12 HP, which is wonderful. Forgot that that went up when we reached level 2, which is great. Now, what do we want else over here? Throwing knives will probably do us some good to attack 2 of these guys at a range of 3, which we can accommodate. On your next 4 attacks targeting enemies adjacent to none of their allies, add 2 to the attack. Right, well, we're not going to get any of them to be alone immediately, so we'll throw throwing knives. And that is the top of the card, so we're looking for something to do on the bottom of the card. We'll take single out. We might as well have that going for us where we can in the future turns. So they're going to move 1, attack 2 for a range of 2. That's the 3 guys at the front. That's going to be pretty rough. Inox Archer, move 1, attack 3 at a range of 3. They might not be able to hit us yet. And the Shaman Elite, move 1, attack 4 at a range of 3. So I don't think we're going to be hit by the Archer or the Elite right now. Scoundrel gets to be up first though. So on our next 4 attacks targeting enemies adjacent to none of their allies, add 2 to our attacks. That's not going to play right now, but we will have it for the future. And then we can attack 2 at a range of 2. At range of 3 even. Right, so our plan here is to retaliate. And reduce the damage that we take here. We'll take that 2. We'll take that 1. And on the next 2 sources of damage, gain shield 1. So we can actually eliminate all of that and receive 0 damage. The Archer's going to move and not attack. And the Mystic's going to move and not attack. Right, if we could get to here, we could attack with all 3 with a sweeping blow. We would need to fly over there, though, to do that. Move 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So if we trample and then sweeping blow, we won't be very fast about it though, unfortunately. So that gives them time to move towards us and break this perfect pattern. What do we want to do here? Add 2 attack when the target is adjacent to any of our allies. That's not going to happen. We could go invisible. Or we could try and move over to this side so that these guys are further away from us. Spawner. Next round, 1 Inox guard will spawn. That's a bad time. I wonder if these rooms are full of enemies or whether we just have to rely on the spawners to come then. Right, we can move 2, attack for 2. That's a top. Then we have an attack on bottom. So let's do that, see if we can take one out. And here, let's go with Trample. And that is the bottom, so we want something on the top. I will take a Provoking Roar for a discard. And if we're going to trample and do a Provoking Roar, we want to go fast. So trample is going to go 1, 2, 3, 4. Add our boots. 1, 2, 3, 4. 5, 6. Try and keep our distance from these guys. We don't need to heal just yet, so now we'll do our attack action. Disarm this guy, hopefully. Very nice. So, a disarmed character cannot perform any attack abilities. The disarm condition is removed in a moment. So that was a great turn. So now we are going to move 2 and attack 2. That kills 1. And then we can attack 3 on the guy next to them. And that kills them as well. Right, now's as good a time as any, I think, for using our potion to get something back. And I don't think there's going to be things close enough to us. So I'll take Thieves' Neck so that we have a bottom card attack back for us. And that is the end of our turn. So that's 2 down, 8 to go. I'll reduce that by 2. And a guard, Inox guard is summoned back to us at the top of the order. So we've got this one that we want to kill as we are stood. We could overwhelming assault for 6. But I think we can probably do some kind of a standard attack. Which looks like it would be sweeping blow. That will do 2. And then Scoundrel can do move 3 and poison. And then Flanking Strike, add 2 attack and gain 1 when the target is adjacent to any of your allies. So if we move and Flanking Strike and move with poison, we'll be able to move to this guy and attack. So that means the Brute is free to do anything they want this turn. So what I think we want to do is close in on these guys, otherwise they're just going to keep attacking us from range. So our highest move is a move 4. Or we could try and move somewhere where we could throw a spare dagger. Now, none of the stuff in the way ever will get in the way of a ranged attack. It's only real walls that can do that. I'm also intrigued by the doors on the sides, and whether they will have things that benefit us, or just more enemies, or loot. So, why don't we? We're here. 1, 2, 3. Let's move 4. And we'll take spare dagger, grab and go. We can move 4 to this doorway, then if there's an enemy inside, we can throw a dagger at them. Shaman Elite is moving 2, attacking 2 at a range of 3 with disarm. That's a bad time. But we are up first, so we're going to move 3. We are immobilized. I was not paying enough attention to that. So we cannot attack because we've got nothing next to us, and we cannot move, so we might as well heal ourselves for 3 then. And then our movement is wasted, which is a damn shame. So the brute is up. We can move 4. And then throw the dagger back at this guy. But I don't know if we want to add more creatures into the initiative to overwhelm us, would be the problem. Or we can attack for 2 here, and then loot for 1 and just get the stuff that's around us. So not an ideal turn. This guy strengthens themselves. We get attacked for 0 over here, which is great. Back to the top of the order. We are no longer immobilized. We can pull a range of 3. Pull 2. Unfortunately, that's not going to be able to move them away. There is hazardous terrain on the ground. I had not noticed this earlier. And the difference between hazardous terrain and a trap is hazardous terrain will remain when something stands in it as a trap that, as opposed to a trap that goes off and then is gone forever. But I don't think the location of these are that ideal for us. Sweeping Blow attacks for 2. We could kill the thing that's next to us. And then move for 4. And then with nothing else going on for us, we can move 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We can move 5. And then turn invisible if we have to. No, let's move 6 on backstab. And then when we open this door, we can Venom Shiv something if we wish. So we are moving 6. Should we do the closer door that we have more movement when we get in? 1, 2, 3. There is 1 guy inside. An obstacle, a pile of gold, and very little else. So we can actually move right into this doorway. And then attack with poison. And we do 2 extra damage because because they're alone and we have our passive that injures stuff more when it's alone, and we do +1 because of the poison. And we miss, which is just such a shame. They add shield and strength. Oh no, that's retaliate even. Folks out here are doing the same. They heal their friend, which is no fun at all. Right, Brute's turn. This guy now has 5 health. So what I'm tempted to do is move 4 to here. And then use Sweeping Blow on multiple targets. We don't need to heal yet. And we have a new round. So we can Thieves' Knack and Smoke Bomb. This will be an attack on the bottom for 2 and an attack on the top for 2. So that seems good for there. Out here, we can attack for 6 with Overwhelming Assault. And we could see if we can draw a +1 and kill the guard, the elite shaman. And shield 1 with our other card seems pretty adequate. They are all slower than us. So the scoundrel, we are going to attack for 3 on the bottom here. And then do a standard attack 2 action here, rather than using the top half of the card. Just a standard attack here. And we waste our ×2, but that's fine. These things will happen. Then the brute, we are going to shield self for 1. And then overwhelming assault for 6 on this guy, and hope to draw a +1 or a +2 or a ×2. Any of that good stuff. There we go. +1 makes 7, which kills the shaman, which is a great place to be. We still don't need to heal ourselves. We take no damage from that attack. And then the 2 guards move. And 1 attacks us for 2 damage. We'll use our warding strength and only take 1. Right, we are going to have to rest here. I think a short rest will be totally adequate. Sweeping Blow I would love to keep because we are actually stood next to... Oh, we are not stood next to 2 guys at the moment. Fine, you convinced me to lose Sweeping Blow. And we need to rest over here as well, so let's do that first. Venom Shiv and move 5 we can burn. Right, we're going to want to move out. 1, 2, 3, 4 would get us into a range of attacking with 2 throwing knives. So, do we have a move 4? We do. Flanking strike. And throwing knives. And over here, we're probably just going to try and kill this guy next to us. Or we could try and kill the guy with 8 HP instantly with our special super mega fatal advance. But we'd need a 1, 2, 3, a move 4 to get there. So we'll go with a Provoking Roar, attack 2, disarm. And a Spare Dagger, attack 2 on the bottom. We can hit the guy next to us twice. And we are up first, so the plan here is to move to this tile. And then throwing knives these 2 targets. Let me get rid of one of our -2s there. Then we have attack on top and bottom here. We will... No, we can't use the Spare Dagger after the other attack. We would have to... Yeah, that's not going to work out because Spare Dagger is the top and this bottom is not an attack of its own. So we will attack for 2 the guy next to us. +2 means we get that kill. And then we cannot disarming attack up here for anything given our location, so that's just going to be a pass action. The archer attacks us for 2. We will ward against that. They put out a trap, which is a bad time. And that guy moves behind. We've burned trample because we've already used that once, so we can't jump with that. So without jump, we can't get past this trap that does 3 damage, which is a bad time. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 to get round the back. We'd need to long rest if we want to get back our boots. And we certainly don't have that much movement otherwise. So we could go through the thorns and only take 1 from that rather than 3 from the trap. What can the scoundrel be doing? Move 2, attack 2. Do we have... We do have disarm 1 adjacent trap. And we would need to move 2 to get there. So if we... Thieves' Knack, top, disarm 1 adjacent trap, 2 experience. And bottom, move 3, poison 1 adjacent target. We can move through the thorns, then get rid of the trap, leaving our guy to then be able to move forward and attack the archer. So we need to go slower than a 23 if we're to do that second. So we'll do grab and go on 87, and then shield bash. So the scoundrel's up first. We move. We take 1 damage because of the thorns. We knew that. Then we skip the rest of the movement. Poison this guy. And then disarm this adjacent trap. We get 2 XP for our trouble. Now they're going. Just movement and nothing else. We get no damage there because they did a ranged attack on a target next to them. They attacked with disadvantage. Now the brute is up. We're going to, I think, step up to here because then we'll have adjacent targets next turn. And skip the rest of our movement. We'll use our potion because we're on 9 out of 12, so we'll get our full benefit from that. And then attack with stun. The poisoned guy's going to die regardless to that, so we wouldn't get any benefit from the stun. So we could attack the one who has more health. Let's do that. So the stun, a stun character cannot perform any abilities nor use items on its turn. The stun condition is removed. So we've removed their ability to do something next turn. Round 8. So we do have Fatal Advance now. We could use that on the guy with 8 HP. So we would need to move for 2 on 18. And then Fatal Advance on 40. And here we just want to try and kill the poisoned guy. So add 2 attack and gain 1 experience when the target is adjacent to any of your allies. But that would be burnt. Or Quick Hands, move 2. Do we have a bottom attack? We don't. So move 2 attack for 2. Or backstab. Now we are going to get +1 because of the poison. So we could just do a basic attack action. Try and save some of our cards. Although we need to have 3 or fewer total cards in hand and discard at the end of the scenario. So we need to burn more stuff if we're going to get that to go. So sure, we'll use Backstab and Quick Hands Loot 1. Then Brute is up. This guy's still stunned, so our plan is still to move 2, stand here, and then kill one normal enemy adjacent to us immediately. Very nice. This guy was stunned, so nothing else happens there. We need to short rest. Spare dagger, fine. Let it be burnt. Now we have this guy who's alone. That makes 8. So we will attack you and then move into the room behind us. And we need to short rest here. We're going to lose flanking strike. I'd rather not. There goes Thieves' Neck. So you're going on a 10. We can go faster than that with flanking strike, which is what we want, because add 2 attack and gain 1 experience when the target is adjacent to an ally, which they will be at that time. And that is a top card, so we need a bottom card to move. We can move 3 and poison them. So, move 3 on top of the gold. Then poison this guy. Then attack them. They are killed. Scoundrel ends their turn, gets the 2 gold they are stood on. Brute's turn. So we can now move for 4 through this door. 1. We've got lots of random bones on the ground and a shaman over here. No chests that I can see, just some gold in the corner. So we'll take the rest of our movement and then attack with disarm. So they are disarmed. A disarmed character cannot perform any attack abilities. So they could still heal or summon, but they can't attack us this turn. This will be number 9 for a kill. And we're going to need to short rest if we're to play 2 cards. Unfortunately, we need to find something fast, because otherwise we're going to become exhausted. Next round, 1 Inox guard will appear. So it looks like this is our last turn for Brute. But we can attack here and then move 2 is just about all we can do. Here we're going to need to open a door or just wait for this guy to appear. So how are we going to get a fast kill? Probably smoke bomb, because I'll double the value of the attack and gain 2 experience, and we'll burn that, getting us closer to our 3 cards that we need. So we'll smoke bomb, and we will move 2, getting us closer to where that enemy is going to spawn. Then we are attacking for 2. That's a real problem. That is a real problem. Right, we're going to move 2. We are immobilized. We can't move 2. So we'll just heal ourselves because we can. Then the scoundrel is up. We are going to loot 1, get this gold. No, we're not. We're going to move to be adjacent to this spawner. Then we're going to set ourselves to invisible. Right, we only have 2 cards left. When we perform a short rest, we'll burn 1. And then we are unable to draw 2 cards. So they are exhausted. So we need to kill 2 with the scoundrel before the scoundrel becomes exhausted. We are currently invisible. We need to long rest in order to get short rest in order to get something back. Move 3, poison 1 enemy. I would like that because we can move around the guy that we're stood next to and cause poison, which will be worth +2 if we're invisible. So let's redraw. That's fine. So we are going to move. I think we need to kill 2 guys before our next turn, because our next turn will be our last. So we'll move and flanking strike. Or from here, 1, 2, 3. If they move closer to us, although they'd have no reason to move closer to us if they don't have, if we're invisible, they don't have a target to move towards. So I don't think they're going to move. And our throwing knives attack at a range of 3. So from here it would be 1, 2, 3. That's too far. 1, 2, 3. We could reach them, but not them. So we're going to flanking strike, special mixture, save our throwing knives for next turn. And then we're going to move to here. Poison this guy. Actually, I wanted to move back to there because we could still do that, couldn't we? Still, this guy is poisoned. Then we attack them. Oh, come on, game. Right, we're no longer invisible. We take 2 damage. Please move towards us. They didn't move towards us. We have to short rest because we only have 1 card. Now we could move to here. Oh, I should have gone late so they had a chance to move towards us. I'm so bad at this game. So if we move to here and then throw knives, we can throw a knife here, we just can't throw a knife there. That's 9. And now we have no way to do 1 damage to this guy. We short rest. We burn a card. And we are exhausted. Such bad rolls at the end. I'm so mad. It's the little mistakes that I keep making about initiative order and not doing things in a perfect order. It's just getting me ruined. There's multiple times there we could have succeeded. Alright, well, we're going to be able to level up with Faith next time, and then we will go back and see what more we can do. But thank you ever so much for watching. If you're enjoying the series, please do consider subscribing or hitting that like button. If you have any questions or comments, you can put them down below. Otherwise, I'll see you in the next one. Cheers.